Halftime Pizza and FightSaga.com proudly present War Week Radio with 5-decade fight trainer James Gogue.
Welcome. Happy Sunday to everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed the entire DAZN pay-per-view last night featuring Canelo Alvarez and John Ryder. Guys, I know you guys have a huge question for Coach James Gogue. Well, and we're going to ask it. Guys, so let's welcome the 5-decade fight trainer from Mexico City. The incomparable 5-decade fight trainer, Coach James Gogue. James, how are you doing this evening, brother?
Hey, Joe. Yeah, the reason why I'm doing the show on my phone is because I'm in Mexico City. We switch camp. We switch camps. You know, we're up here in the higher altitude of Mexico City, so we're gonna be fighting here in May 27th. And the altitude here is like 7,200 feet, a little higher than where I'm at in Leon, Mexico, where it's like 6,000. So I just want to get here a few weeks early to get acclimated to the higher altitude and to get some better sparring up here. They got Mexico City, they got over 200 boxing gyms here, and they got a lot of sparring. And the gym we're going to be training at, Miro Boxing Gym, they got a lot of guys we could get some work with. So, last time, it's my second time being up here. So, let's see how it goes. And maybe I'll make a move up here because of the better sparring they have here in Mexico City, because there's not a lot of good sparring in Leon. But in Mexico City, it's like L.A. They got a shitload of gyms and a shitload of tough fighters you could spar.
Well, I tell you what, we look forward to seeing the best of
you there, Joe?
Fighters. Yeah, can you hear me, sir? I can hear you just fine. All right. So, yeah, we look forward to seeing the best of your fighters on May 27th. We'll keep everyone in sync where they can actually find that. Or, we'll let them know exactly what happens if they can. But, guys, once again, the headlines this morning. Canelo Alvarez gets wide unanimous decision over a very gallant endgame. John Ryder from the UK with scores of 120-107. Boy, Jeremy Hayes was just phoning that fight card in. But Gerardo Martinez and Joseph Pascal, they had it right. 118-109 with pretty much a clean sweep throughout most of the fight, except until, Canelo Alvarez at age 32 started gassing late in the fight. Coach Gogue, once again, you have to admire the tough, rugged, physical and mental durability of John Ryder. He was a real horse last night, getting busted up, bleeding profusely, having to breathe through his mouth, drinking all that blood, but still making it across the finish line. Now, Coach, here's the question on everyone's brain. Is Canelo, is he indeed slipping? Or is this a product of a very tough, rugged John Ryder? Or is it a combination of both? What say you, sir?
Remember, Joe, I said that on my show, I don't know, probably a couple months ago, that he hit his peak. I don't know if you remember that. We talked about that.
Sir.
And I told you, look, I hit. Remember, Joe?
Yes, of course I do, sir.
Yeah, we talked about it, and I don't know. It just something got in my head, and I just brought it out that day. And I said, because I had a feeling when I was talking about it that he hit his peak, and every performance from now on, you're going to see a decline in his skills. Okay, in his basically in his performance. When you see a decline in his skills, and he's not performing up to par like when he was in his prime, that means, hey, he's starting to slide downhill. And I said that on the last time we talked about it. I didn't even, it just happened, Joe. We didn't even plan for it. It just got in my head. It just got into my head one day, and I started talking about it. I said, Joe, you know what? I think he really hit his peak. I think everything from now on, you're going to see declines in his performances. You know, I was saying that on the show, and the Bivol fight. Okay, then he fought a guy that was older than him. You know, that grandfather Golovkin. Is that? Yeah, they fought him, and you know, he was old. He was old and shot. Then, you know, Canelo fought this guy, and you can start seeing, man, he's not. You know, let me tell you, fans out there. Hey, Joe, can you hear me? Am I good?
You're fine, Coach. You're fine.
Okay.
Keep talking, sir.
Now, look, here are the signs. Okay, not only from experience, it's that feeling I have inside of me that you know, made me come up with this. Not an idea. Come up with this. What do you call it, Joe? Come up with this. Not a theory, but a suspicion.
Yep.
Okay, that helps me. That, you know, this feeling inside of me, it helps me. It brought out the suspicion of me that this guy's pass is going, hit his peak. Now he's starting to decline. Now here's the signs, Joe. Number one, he got hit a lot. Okay, he wasn't slipping punches like he usually does. All right. He got hit a lot. Right there. When you see a fighter start getting hit a lot, you know, especially, you know, when he's getting older, that means his reflexes are starting to slip. He's not seeing them punches as clearly, as not being able to react as fast to slip those punches. Joe, do you think he really wanted to get hit by those punches yesterday?
Hell no, brother.
Okay.
Hell no.
All right. Then Canelo, you know Canelo, he's in his prime, he had tremendous head movement, like W.A.W. Benitez. Just suddenly moved his head just to make you miss just a little. And Canelo had that ability, like the legendary, you know, W.A.W. Benitez. Now, last night I didn't see that in him. Okay, okay, that's sign number one. He's starting to get hit more. Sign number two, Joe, is he can't pull the trigger like he used to.
I noticed that as well last night, brother. Yep.
Yeah. He's not as sharp and crisp and quick to the draw. Okay. All right, Joe. He's, you know what I mean? He's not as sharp and crisp and quick to the draw like he usually is. And he's not as sharp and crisp in hitting his target. Okay.
Yep.
Number three, he's getting older. The body, when you get older, the body doesn't recover as fast. Okay.
Yeah.
All those wars, all those tough fights he's had put a lot of miles on his engine. He's a fighter with a lot of miles on his engine. Don't forget, Joe, he turned pro when he was 15 years old.
That's right.
Okay.
He's been learning on the job. You're absolutely right.
All right. So he's got a lot of miles on his engine. That's another telltale sign that, you know, he's slipping. What else? Okay, you know, like I said, he's older. His body doesn't recover. Now, the fourth thing, Joe, is the motherfucker's made millions. How much do you think he's motivated to have that hunger and fire to train meticulously like you should, okay, as a fighter? Now, the last fight with Bivol, he was blaming, I wasn't in good condition this last fight with Bivol. I don't know what what the excuse was. Was he hurt?
It was a surgically repaired hand. Once again, he had a broken wrist, broken hand, and it was surgically repaired in the offseason between the Bivol fight or the Golovkin fight and this one.
All right, Joe, that's good, but you still could do your road work, between fights and all that. You still could train between fights and all that stuff. You can still do, you know what I mean?
Well, I think Canelo did the bulk of his training on the golf course.
Hey, Joe, what was he doing? He was training. No, he would do his road work. He would go to the golf course and he would go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Where the fuck do you think his focus is at? Joe, like I said, he's made millions. How hungry is he? How much fire does he have in himself to prepare for these fights, to make those sacrifices? Okay. All right. Now, Floyd Mayweather, Bernard Hopkins, they were exceptional. No matter how much money they made, they always had that burning fire, that hunger in them to make sure every time they fought, they were prepared. They went through the process, Joe, and they didn't take no shortcuts. How about Canelo? You know what I mean? I think he's taking shortcuts. He's fucking playing golf. Right when he's getting rid of 18 rounds of golf right before he goes to training. Come on, man. When you're getting ready for a fight, you should do your road work. Come back and eat, rest all day. Focus on the gym. He's at the fucking golf course. Trying to be the next Tiger Woods. You know what I mean? So that's number. That's number 4. Is it hunger and fire? Is it there? Is it there? I question it. I don't think it is, because he's made so many millions. When you got that when you made the kind of money he's made, man, you know what I mean, Joe?
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, that raises a lot of questions we have for you now, Coach.
Joe, I got number 5. You got to hear number 5.
Shit. Let's hear it, my friend.
The most important thing is this right here is going to tell you if a fighter's shot. Punch resistant. He can't take a punch. Okay. His legs start shaking when you hit him with a good shot. All right. That tells me right then, that's the biggest telltale sign, is when you get hit with a good shot, your punch resistance low. Your legs start shaking, or you just get put on your ass. Now, I learned that from Julian Jackson. Okay.
Yep.
As he got older, his punch resistant, his chin resistant was low. As soon as he got hit, his legs were shaking, or he would get dropped. I seen it in the gym, Joe. I seen him get pretty much knocked out on his feet in the gym, right? A week, 2 weeks before he fought Quincy Taylor. Yeah. His farm partner, Alex Rios from San Antonio.
Yep, Alex Rios.
Left hand.
Southpaw.
Hit him with the left. Yeah, hit him with the left hand, and his legs were buckled. Right there. That's the biggest telltale sign. So those 5 things, Joe, I look at. But the 5th is the biggest. If you can't look at my guy Tigre. Remember him, Joe?
Oh, gosh.
Look at him. Yeah. He got knocked out by Angulo. And I thought, his next fight, he got knocked out. He got knocked out again his very next fight. First thing I said to myself, he ain't got it no more. His chin. He ain't, you know what I mean? His chin resistance is gone. His chin is turned to glass. And I told him that, and I told him not to fight. And of course, fighters ain't gonna listen. Oh, I got a lot left in me, James. I got a lot. You're hating on me. You're hating on me. I got a lot left in him. Check this out. After he left me, he got knocked out 6 or 7 more times. But anyway, Joe.
Sounds like Glenn Tapia at this time. Yep.
Yeah, like I said, Joe, them are the 5 things I see if a fighter's shot or declining. Now, when he can't take a punch, he's shot. Wilfred Benitez, he was shot when he was 26, when he got knocked out by was it Matthew or Davey Hilton? One of them Hilton brothers stopped him when he was 26 years old. I saw that. I'm like, man, Benitez never got hit with shots like that because he had superb reflexes, but they were gone by the time he was 26. Mondo Ramos was the same way. He was a champion at 19. At 21, he was shot. He couldn't take a punch no more. Now, you don't get it long in your career when it comes anytime, Joe. You get hit, you know what I mean? It
comes at any time.
It shows up any time in your career. Yeah.
Yep.
But anyway, Joe, I don't want to keep the show hold on this topic. Just
no. We've been waiting for all of this, Coach. Now, once again, with all of those, did you check all of those boxes last night? Or does Canelo still have a way to go before he's considered, at the tail end of his career?
3 out of the 4 boxes I checked, the chin hasn't turned to glass yet. You know what I mean?
Wow. And I tell you what, guys, before we ask him the $1 million question about David Benavidez now, let's go to our dear friends in the chat. We want to welcome first our brother Pranay. Thank you for being here for the coach, brother, every Sunday. He says, Coach, I feel Canelo's static high guard pressure was to deal with Ryder's smothering style. He bodies you, then takes away your punching range. Canelo was looking to knock him out, not be slick and cute. He also says, Having said that, Coach, Canelo is obviously a step behind now. Still elite, still can beat some of the best at 68, but not with the same ease. He also further goes on to say this. Me and Canelo are at the same age. We've been watching him since I was 19 when he was coming up. It's a bit emotional for me last night knowing we are in the final chapter of the Canelo era. Stars of today aren't the same.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, boy, that is a real mouthful. And you know what? That's very insightful stuff, Pranay. God bless you, brother. Thank you for being a great fan of the sport, brother. And we want to welcome our brother, SSP Diving. What's up, Joseph Coat in chat? What's up with you, my friend? Thank you for spending your Sunday evening with us.
What up?
Also want to give a shout out to my brother, Jesus M. He says, saludos, Coach. Saludos to you,
What
brother.
Up, Jesus?
He says, excuse me. He says, Coach, Canelo still gets tired and throws all punches with power. Therefore, he exerts energy. Yep. Once again,
he gets tired in the back half of the fight, always, even when he was in his prime.
Yep. But at 168 at his prime weight, now he's even having to fight, in spurts. Once again, he's not killing himself to make weight any longer. But I will say this, though. He's got that Emmanuel Stewart triangle theory, right? Where you combine speed with power, you're going to sacrifice volume. That's just the way it goes. If you're explosive and combine speed with power, yeah, you're going to sacrifice volume. You're not going to be able to work for all 3 minutes of every round. Also want to give a big shout out to my brother G Funky Boxing. Greetings, Jose and Coach Gogue. Yes, thank you, sir. Very good evening to you. And once again, great breakdown last night on your channel. Guys, if you still haven't listened to it, go check it out after tonight's show on G Funky Boxing. And please subscribe. G Funky says, I had it 9-3, Canelo. I gave Ryder all the championship rounds. I gave him the final 2. I had it scored 9-2 and 1 even in the first round. And traditionally, Coach, I don't like giving a round where there's not very much happening. I don't like scoring it for rewarding it to either fighter, because you would hate for a round like that to determine the winner. So that's the reason why I still call even rounds. Jesus M says, Joe, nobody can look impressive and KO every opponent. That is correct. And that's my sentiment exactly. I think a lot of people are not giving very difficult, very tough John Ryder enough credit. And I will say this, Ryan Garcia, I hope you're watching and taking notes, brother, because that's how it's done at this level.
Yep.
Maricon chinga. And he says, Jesus says, Coach, was Canelo's plan just to go forward? I'll let you answer that, Coach. That's for you.
He usually goes forward, but he moves his head and he slips those punches a lot better than last night. He was eating them punches flush. The last couple fights, when he fought Bivol, he was eating them punches flush. Now, he had some good defensive skills with Bivol. If you watch the tape, and he was making Bivol miss subtly. It looked, when you watch the fight live, he was getting hit flush, but he was rolling with the punch, or he was just move his head just enough just to make a miss. But yesterday, he was eating them punches flush. Okay, going forward and everything. There wasn't that head movement. You know what I mean? Maybe he didn't respect Ryder's power too. You know what I mean?
To be honest with you, Coach, I don't think he anticipated it, because in all of, and once again, I kind of mentioned this on my Friday show, right? In my opinion, I was questioning, wonder whether or not, because he's used to fighting just like Canelo at 168, being in the land of the giants. John Ryder is usually forced to take the lead and be the aggressor, burying his head in his opponent's chest and just staying there and working. And he's never shown evidence of working from mid to long range. And I think Canelo wasn't anticipating that style, in my opinion, just to be fair.
Yeah, but anyway, it don't matter. Canelo, in his prime, when they got hit with a lot of those shots by Ryder, and he would have been a lot more crisp and sharp. Okay, like I said, he would have been able to pull the trigger like a young prime Canelo, not the one yesterday where he was off. His timing and rhythm is off, or by just not seconds, but milliseconds. What I'm trying to say. Yeah.
You know what, brother? Just like the NFL is a game of inches, in this business at this level, the elite level, that's all it takes now, doesn't it, Coach?
Yeah. It's a game of inches, and when you fight an elite guys, it's a game of milliseconds, and millimeters. Yeah, not inches, but it's smaller than inches. Okay, the windows of opportunity are a lot smaller. What I'm trying to say.
That's it, guys. That's it. Coach is right on, as usual. And thanks for all of your insight, Jesus. Those are great comments, great questions. Also, Brother G. Bucky says, Canelo, his engine is leaking oil. Oh, boy.
Hey,
welcome on, brother.
G-Funky.
Go ahead, sir.
G-Funky. What happens when you got a lot of miles on your engine on your car? It usually starts leaking oil. The gaskets, start cracking, and the oil starts leaking out, sipping out. Okay, that's what happens when you over the years you accumulate a lot of miles where.
Coach, are you still there with us, sir? You just dropped off.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now, sir, loudly and clearly. Keep going.
Oh, every fighter has a different odometer reading.
Yep.
Some fighters, after 100,000 miles, that's it. Their engine needs a overhaul. Some fighters could go 250,000 miles, and they don't even need an overhaul. You just keep changing the oil, changing the spark plugs, aka Bernard Hopkins and everything. Okay. Now, what determines if you got a lot of hard, tough miles on your engine? You know what it does, Joe? What determines that?
What's up, brother?
Defense. If you got bad defense, you can have 100,000 miles with a lot of rough, tough miles on your engine. You could have 250,000 miles on your engine, okay, but don't have the wear and tear because your defense is good. All right. Some food for thought for you guys out there.
And
would you agree, Joe?
No, I would absolutely agree. And once again, sly tendencies. He earns the right to jump the line. Thank you, Sly Tendencies, for the $2 super chat, brother. God bless you, my friend, Sly? And financially supporting War Week Radio and the coach. He says, Joe's name is Mystic Mac. You picking all them right. Well, brother, I hate to say it, but this wasn't a very difficult one, but I'll take it. Thank you very much, sir. And thank you for once again supporting War Week Radio. And he also says this, Coach Gogue, can you please describe how to beat Dimitri Bivol at this time after what you saw last night? Can you also name any boxer or reference from any time that could have handled a beast like Dimitri Bivol at 175?
Oh, shit. To beat Canelo, what does he got? Man, he ain't going to beat him, all right? All right? Only way he going to beat him is if he makes the same mistakes as Gervonta. If he made the same mistakes like Gervonta Davis did when he fought Ryan Garcia, get hungover going in, have a Sunday morning hangover going into the fight, get lost to the arena on the way to the fight, something like that. Canelo ain't gonna beat him, okay? Ain't gonna, especially the way he looked last night. You think he's gonna beat Bivol? Hell no, man. In fact, Bivol will have an easier time. Bivol will have an easier time carving Canelo up this time. All right.
Oh boy.
Last time Bivol, it was what do you call it? It was his first time fighting Canelo. There was no familiarity. Now he knows what he could do with Canelo. Okay. All right. Now he knows what he could do with Canelo. All right. And now what he saw last night with Ryder, it just gave him even more confidence. Okay. Like this guy is, he's declining. His skills are diminishing and he's getting hit more. Oh shit. He's thinking to himself, maybe I can come in the ring with a Sunday morning hangover and still beat him. You know what I mean? After he saw Canelo last night. But anyway.
Well, guys, once again, why do you think he's so adamant about fighting him at 168? And that's another thing we're going to see on this topic because of our brother Sly Tendencies asking this question. And once again, thank you for the super chat, my friend. Go ahead, sir.
And another thing is fighters, Roy Jones Jr. Okay, come on now, man. Yeah.
Happened overnight.
Antonio Tarver. Them guys would have gave Bivol great fights. Okay? You know what I mean?
Well, how about someone, I will say this, the return of Alexander Gvosdik last night, beating up Richard Blatniks. Now, once again, that's just Blatniks, but, boy, he looked every bit of the elite guy that we saw before fighting Arthur Beterbiev. And once again, guys, you talk about guys that could have handled Dmitry Bivol throughout history. Don't discount Arthur Beterbiev or Alexander Gvosdik right now.
Gvosdik is, man, he coming back, I don't feel it. I don't feel it. Once you retired, the way he retired, he got beat down and he's trying to make a comeback. I don't see fighters coming back being successful after they got a beat down like he did.
Not even after the rest. Not even after the substantial time off for his body and his mind.
He can't hit. He's not a big puncher.
That is true. He's never been a big puncher.
And wait till how about when he gets hit again on the chin? How's he? You know what I mean?
That is correct.
I don't see it. I don't see it. I've never seen a fighter. Let me think. That got his ass whooped real bad, like he did, and tried to make a comeback. Was successful. Not even Duran. Duran never got his ass whooped when he lost. He just wasn't. He just, what do you call it? Wasn't focused on the game.
No, but I would beg to differ against Tommy Hearns.
Yeah, Tommy Hearns
whooped his ass.
Well, but that's, I don't know. I just don't feel it about Gvosdik, man. I can't think of the words, or I can't.
What about? So let's move away from that. What about Arthur Beterbiev, sir?
Now, I think Bivol beats him because of his in and out movement.
Well, what about Mikulchevsky, the Tiger?
Oh, that's a good fight. Bivol because of his movement, man. When you got a guy that can move like Bivol, in and out, in circles, great ring generalship, establishes his jab real good, sharp, quick counters, step back counters, fast combinations. Man, that's hard to beat. Mikulchevsky gets hit a lot, okay?
That is true. That is true.
Bivol will pick him apart.
Wow, boy, Dmitry Bivol. And once again, how do you like this, Coach? And we're going to stick on this topic. I need to get your thoughts on this. It turns out that Dmitry Bivol, once again, and we called it on this channel, guys, once again, after making 2 inflated purses and after dominating Canelo Alvarez last year, seems to think that he's on the A side now, Coach, not understanding what determines the A side in this business. And now believes he is the shot caller for this upcoming potential rematch with Canelo Alvarez, saying, you know what, I don't want to fight unless it's at 68. And then I want, and I feel I deserve the lion's share of the purse. Is he going to talk his way out of this fight, Coach?
Yeah. You think Canelo's going to put up with that shit? F you. And you're going to be kissing away your biggest pay, your second, probably your biggest payday. Okay, I think Canelo will give in a little and give him some more money. Hey, you beat me, so I'll throw you a few more bones. But he ain't going to get he ain't going to get the same amount Canelo. Now he ain't going to get the same amount Canelo is. Now Canelo said last night it's going to be the same deal as last time. But if Canelo really wants that fight bad enough, he'll make some concessions and give this guy a little bit more money. Okay.
Coach, I really don't think he wants to fight bad enough. I think he's going to use this as an excuse, and what's a very valid one. Once again, hey, yay, brother, I'm still wearing the Big Daddy pants. I'm still the guy who has the gold. Either you agree to my terms or you can kiss my ass and go fight Jaime Munguia for much less money. You take it or leave it, big guy, because I don't need you. I don't need anybody. I'm already a first ballot Hall of Famer who can pick and choose whoever I want. That's what I think is going to happen. I think it's going to. Now, here's the other one, Coach. Do you still favor Canelo in a head-to-head matchup with 25-year-old David Benavidez?
Right now, I favor Benavidez, the way he looked yesterday. Canelo, not only, his skills diminishing, Joe, he's got a lot of, wear and tear on his engine. Everything I talked about earlier, Joe. The only thing he's missing, the only box that hasn't been checked is his chin resistance. It's still holding up. It's holding up for now, but it ain't gonna, has more fight as he gets more and more fights, it ain't gonna hold up much longer. But with Benavidez, you're talking about a guy, a young, hungry, motivated. He's gonna be. Let me think. Let me get my thoughts together, Joe. He's gonna be putting his combinations together from round 1 all the way to round 12. He ain't gonna take no breaks and like Canelo. Okay. Now Canelo always, he somehow he can't put, he doesn't have the endurance to fight a hard 12 rounds 1 through 12. You know what I mean? Back half of the fight, he'll start slowing down. Even with the fights with Golovkin and everything, man, he was tired, but he sucked it up. Especially that first Golovkin fight. You know what I mean? He was, that's the way he is. Canelo's a bully. If he can't hurt you, if he can't intimidate you in the first 4 to 6 rounds, you take him in the back half of the fight. And then you got a fighter like Benavidez who's, strong from round 1 to 12 and putting his combinations together. You know what I mean, Joe? Canelo's taking a break. Canelo's taking a break, but not David Benavidez. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to say. You threw that question to me. What do you call it? You threw a curveball at me, and it took me a while to get my thoughts.
No, you did just fine. And you know what? I could almost anticipate exactly what you were saying, brother. You were going to say, and that's why I asked it. And once again, I can't disagree with you at this time, Coach. The punch volume, the hand speed. If he thought Ryder, if he found it difficult to get out of the way of Ryder's shots from short range, well, it might be a very painful lesson against Dave Benavidez. I'm with you, Coach. After what we saw last night, if the fight were made tomorrow, it would have to slightly favor David Benavidez.
The young upcoming hungry lion that wants his throne.
So once again, Sly, thank you very much for bringing up those topics for Coach Gogue. It's spawned a lot of great answers who's going to result in an article tomorrow, brother. So be on the lookout for that on Boxing News 24, as well as our virtual article series on War Week Radio. Thank you for all of that, my friend. And guys,
hey, Joe,
yes, sir.
You're going to write an article on everything I've been saying on what's that boxing website?
Boxing News 24. And guys, if you didn't know, and believe it or not, Boxing News 24 is the second largest, more widespread circulated periodical devoted to boxing, just behind Boxing Source. Just behind Boxing Scene, right? Gets a wider circulation than Ring TV, Fight News, everything else.
I know that, Joe. I don't follow what do you call it? Internet boxing. I just don't read that stuff.
I'll shoot you the link right when it's available. Okay, I'll finish it tonight to be published tomorrow.
I never heard of boxing. I never heard of boxing. Was it boxing?
Boxing News 24. It's the old East Side Boxing, sir.
Okay.
And there it is. Want to give a shout out to our brother Pounds Box Sale. Thank you for joining us, sir. And he says, I had it 11-1 Canelo. Well, you weren't far off, brother. You weren't far
11
off.
to 1.
11-1. And I want to thank you for joining us and supporting the coach there. Also want to give a shout out to my brother Juice. How you doing, my friend? Thank you for being here from the Boxing Source. And once again, guys, if you missed it, I went through everything with my brother James from the Boxing Source. I gave my personal opinions on it. If you didn't hear it, go check it out after the show, guys. James from the Boxing Source always does a great job. And thank you for being there. Juice, we appreciate it. And thank you for being here for the coach, brother. It's always appreciated.
Where's the boxing James from the Boxing Source from? Baltimore?
He's from the DMV area. I don't know exactly where it is. He's right here. Yeah, okay. He's right here in your show right now. And once again, thank you for reminding everyone to like and subscribe to the coach. And in turn, please go subscribe and like the Boxing Source. And I want to thank brother James for always being the gracious host and always supporting the coach every Sunday. Thank you, my friend.
What up?
And I tell you what, we also want to thank one of our oldest friends of the show, my brother, Big Luke. God bless you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. You're in my prayers, brother, every single week. God bless you. And I hope you are thriving right now, both physically and emotionally, my friend. God bless you. And you're always going to be in my prayers. And he says, Coach Joseph, simply the best. Thank you, sir. We feel the same way about you, my friend. And once again, I always state this on the show. Guys, me and the coach, we are here for you guys. That's why we do this. God bless you, man. Thank you. Thank you for everything, Big Luke. We love you, man. Let's see. Sly also says this. You know what? People need to put some respect on Ryder's name. The dude's legit. Yeah. I will say this. Most people look at his resume and they see the 5 losses. And I'm going to go back to exactly what Emmanuel Stewart used to tell me. Guys, records, resumes, and trinkets are for fans, writers, and network executives who don't quite understand what they're looking at yet. Guys, it's very misleading, his record. He is the UK equivalent to Orlando Salido. He's one of the toughest sons of bitches you'll ever see in the ring. And, man, he really brought it. He's a real horse. And congratulations to him for really taking a beating and picking up a lot of new fans last night. I, for one, as soon as he gets some rest, as soon as his body recovers, I would love to see him against anyone at 168 from this point forward. He is a tough, tough man.
Boy, he is. He is. Hey, you can't question his heart, his toughness, his resiliency. All right. He wanted to earn his money. He just didn't want to, want his check. He just didn't want his check, and get the hell out of there. Okay. He wanted to earn every penny he made in that ring with Canelo. And he never was quit on his mind like you know who.
Yep. And I'm going to say it. Are you taking notes, Ryan Garcia? That's how it's done. Yes. Especially when you're charged as much as you are per ticket, as well as the cost of your pay-per-view. I'll say it again, Maricon. Chingao, brother. That really pissed me off, man, last week. And then he sacks his trainer, Joe Goosen.
James, we said that.
Yeah. So do you have
I said that.
Now, do you have anything to add to that? Because I went off last week, and my voice still hasn't recovered from that, brother. Let me tell you, man, I found out he had only been spending 2 days a week training with Master Goosen. How do you expect to get any better, brother? Gogue, do you have anything to add from that?
Where was he training at the other time with his brother?
His conditioning coaches, and he was doing marketing and spending time on Instagram promoting the fight.
Joe, it's better off that he left Joe. Joe don't put up with shit like that, man. Joe, if you ain't a full-time, 110% dedicated, Joe usually don't even mess with you and everything but he's taking a liking to the kid because he's known the kid ever since he was small. So, that's why he decided to take him on. But Joe did not put Joe didn't put the foot down like he usually does, and kick him out if he didn't play by his rules. Okay. But anyway,
And there it is, guys. And once again, here's a thought from Pranay. He says, Coach, how did this decline happen so quickly? Just a year ago, he beat Caleb Plant to become the pound-for-pound king. Canelo Alvarez at 68.
Yeah.
So
how did it happen so fast?
So quickly? Yes, stay on this, Coach, because I'm going to have to step away for just a minute, sir, as you were.
Hey, Pranay, it happens, man. You never know when it's going to happen in your career as a fighter. Usually it happens when you start getting up there in age. All of a sudden, look, it's like your car, your engine on your car. It runs so smoothly. All of a sudden, you're getting all those miles on it, okay? It starts hitting 200,000 miles. It starts running smoothly. Then all of a sudden, boom, one thing starts breaking down after the other. The starter starts going out. The battery starts going out. The transmission starts going out. Or you blow a valve gasket. It's a buildup over time, over the years, and it happens, Joe. I mean, it happens, Pranay. I've seen it happen in every fighter's career. You can't have that youthful exuberance your whole career, okay? Meaning you can't be young. You can't be high in testosterone your whole career unless you're on that shit, all right? But anyway, as you get older, your testosterone levels drop. All right. And, when you get older, of course, your body slows down. When your body slows down, guess what? Your reflexes start slowing down. Okay. When your reflexes start slowing down, you start getting hit more. It happens overnight. It's a slow, gradual process. It happens slowly. Then all of a sudden it happens suddenly. I've seen it happen. I've seen the process happen so many times, Pranay. You'll see a fighter starting to slowly. Yeah, the fighter slowly starts to decline. And all of a sudden, suddenly, you start seeing the big, what do you call it? The big declines in his performance and everything. But right now, he's checked 3 or 4 out of the 5 boxes. The only thing that the box that he hasn't checked for me, what I talked about earlier, was the chin check. He still has a good punch resistance, but that's going to go away too as he gets older. All right, I tell you, as you get older, okay, your chin doesn't hold up as well.
Wow. Oh boy. I tell you what. Thank you for your concerning questions, Pranay. And yeah. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Hey, Pranay. Look at happened to Roy Jones Jr., man. He was the man until Tarver knocked him out. It happened overnight. He never was the same after that.
He never was the same.
His next fight against Glenn Johnson, he got knocked out. Come on, he never was the same after that.
Oh boy, yeah. Superman was officially dead. Goodness gracious. And that was a hard day for a lot of fight fans. I remember this is how devastating that was to a lot of fight fans. I remember watching the Spurs, right? Because I was with my dad. My dad and I were watching the Spurs game, and we were like, oh, no. The first fight wasn't all that thrilling. We're going to go ahead and take a pass on the Tarver-Jones rematch on pay-per-view. So we're watching the NBA, the San Antonio Spurs in the playoffs, and all of a sudden at halftime, we hear Charles Barkley say, oh my gosh, Roy Jones just got knocked out. Oh my gosh. My dad and I looked at each other like the Pope just died or something. So I grabbed my laptop really quickly. I went online and it was absolutely true. We couldn't believe it. I go on some of the chat rooms, the old chat room at Eastside Boxing, and I see people virtually crying online saying, hey, you know what? I don't think I even want to talk about this. In fact, I think I'm going to take a break from boxing for a while.
Yeah.
That's how devastating it was to a lot of people, guys.
Yeah. I was too. I've known Tarver since the amateurs, Antonio. In fact, Joe, want to hear a story? I never told you guys this story, man. And then I just remember.
Yeah,
this
you were
one.
with him
Yeah.
on the '96 team. You were one of the coaches. You were with him during that
I
USA
wasn't-
squad, right?
I wasn't one of the coaches. One of my fighters was on there, Clay Bay Lawrence, but I wasn't one of the coaches. But I had to go to all the tournaments. All the major tournaments I went to. He was always, he was the top dog, so he would be there. Floyd and everybody else. But one time I was talking to him and his coach Lou Harris, his amateur coach at the time, and they go, "We want to fight Roy Jones when we turn pro." And I looked at myself. Are you serious? Roy Jones was the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. He goes, no, we want to fight him. Man, we could beat him. I'm like, they were talking that, Tarver, was getting, he was 110% positive he could beat him. Then they started explaining the background. Oh, they fought Jones twice in the amateurs and they beat him twice. They go, my guy got the style to beat him. He still fights the same way. Tarver and his coach were telling me when they meet up in the pros later on, we're gonna whoop them. You'll see, James. We're gonna.
Well, I tell you what,
they were prophetic.
You as well as the entire world saw it, and it was almost like the boxing world stood still for a moment.
Yeah, but Antonio Tarver knew it. Okay,
no,
he told
you
me
know
that.
what? Same with Vernon Forrest in predicting the Sugar Shane Mosley beat down. Yep.
No, he whooped Shane Mosley easily in the amateurs every time they fought. I was there. He controlled him easily. So he knew he had some familiarity with him, okay? He knew going into the fight, you know what I mean? I whooped this guy easily in the amateurs. I'll do it again in the pros. And that's the same thing with Tarver. I didn't, all the stuff they were telling me. I said, okay. And all of a sudden it came to fruition that one night. Poof. Like, man, okay.
Boy, it sure did in a resounding way, boy. Like I
true
said,
story.
the boxing world, it was never the same. I will say this, guys. Please remind me, anybody, bring it up in the comment section because more than likely I'll forget. I'm getting old. But please remind me to bring this up, the Vernon Forrest story, to Coach Ronnie Shields. He was his trainer as well. And we'll be happy to gush about that as well. But Coach Gogue, thank you for all of your insight, man. And it's a great story, brother. And want to give a big shout out to my brother, John McSmith. Shout out to Coach James Gogue, the living legend. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will second that.
Thank you.
Always, always, always insightful. And we cannot wait to hear what you always have to say every Sunday night after the fights. And John, thank you for hanging with me, brother, and watching the fight with me, bro. Meant a lot to me. Thank you, sir. Also, G Funky says, I'll have Bivol's trainer, Joel Diaz, on this Tuesday. And so, guys, after the Ronnie show, we'll be there.
Hey,
brother.
Joel's not, G Funky, Bivol's, Joel Diaz is not his trainer. Is that old guy he used ever since his amateur days. They they train in Joel Diaz's gym. But it's that old man. If you see him, I don't know his name. It's probably the only fighter he really ever had. Bivol had him since the amateurs. He's the trainer. Okay, he's the one that took him from the amateurs all the way to the title. And Joel helps him out, probably gives him some pointers here and there. But it's the old man that controls everything, man, in the training and and in the gym, especially in the preparation, the gym stuff and everything. But look, man, this guy has been fighting the same way, G Funky. If you ever seen Bivol fighting amateurs like I have, first time I seen him fight was in the World Series of Boxing. Okay, I've said to myself, man, this dude's like he's like a seasoned pro right now. What stood out about him was not only his athleticism, but his heavy hands and his good footwork, in and out, moving in circles at angles. Everything I described about Bivol, his long, stiff jab, the feints, the combinations off his jab, the step back counters, his ability to move in circles, in and out, staying off the rope, staying out of the corners, keeping everything in the center of the ring. That's called ring generalship. He had all the same way he's fighting now. He's never added no extra, well, maybe a few things. Yeah, he's added to his game. To become a more polished pro, okay? But like I said, it's everything he learned in the amateurs, okay, and as coach, that old guy. I can't remember. You got to give the guy credit now, G Funky, all right? When it's due. Nobody gives that guy credit, but the guy's been with him since a little kid. It's probably the only fighter, the only well-known fighter he's ever trained, okay? But he got there. He got there with him and everything. And you can see Bivol, he didn't get rid of him. Like you see a lot of these guys, they turn pro, they move to the States, they hire these well-known trainers. Not this guy. He stuck with that coach. In fact, Joe, get the guy's name, man. He don't get the recognition he should be, but that's the real trainer. Okay, I'm not bashing Joel, but that is the real trainer. You got to give credit when it's due. What's that guy's name, Joe?
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah.
It says yes. Honestly, it only says
he's the real.
Honestly, it only says Joel Diaz right now with all of the articles that I'm pulling up at this time.
Look at his fights. Who's in the ring with him, giving him instructions? All right.
No, you're right. No, you're absolutely right. I don't know why no one is mentioning his name.
Yeah, that's bullshit. That's disrespecting the guy, man. It's like Joel Diaz, he trained Tim Bradley. All of a sudden, I start showing up in the corner, and people start calling me the coach of him. Nah. Joel Diaz, he was with Bradley since the beginning, baby. All right. That's credit. That's credit when it's due. All right. But this coach that trains is the real trainer of Bivol. Watch. All you got to do is watch in the corner who's giving the instructions.
Yep.
And they're speaking Russian. They're not speaking. They're not speaking Spanish.
I have it, guys. I have it. Eduard Kravtsov.
I don't know who he is.
His name is Eduard Kravtsov. Yeah, that's his name.
And Joe, and when he's in the corner giving instructions, they're talking Russian. They're not talking Spanish. All right.
That is true. So we're gonna be.
He's the coach.
We're going to be dialed in nonetheless to Joel Diaz on G Funky's channel right after our show with Ronnie Shields is over. We'll be right there for you, G Funky. Yeah. Great job, brother, in landing that. Also want to give a shout out to my brother. Go ahead, sir.
Give the guy credit. Give the guy credit where it's due. That's Bivol's trainer. He's the guy. He's the brains behind. He's the one that Bivol had from ever he started till now.
We got you.
Back in the amateur days too, I remember.
We got you, Coach, and G Funky always does his due diligence. I'm sure he was going to. So we want to give a shout out to our brother Refugio Garcia. He says Bivol's trainer is Mr. Miyagi. Well, I will say this: great trainer.
Yeah.
But for my money, Refugio, you're listening to the Filipino Mr. Miyagi right now. Thank you for always supporting the coach, brother, every Sunday. We appreciate you being here. Also, want to give a shout out. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, Refugio. That guy that trains Bivol, he couldn't train nobody else, only Bivol to be successful.
That's what I'm saying, guys. You're listening to the Filipino Mr. Miyagi right now in boxing. Guys, want to give a big shout out to my brother Anthony Manzano from Florida.
Well, Joe.
Thank you for joining us, sir. He says, hi, Coach. And Joe, hello to you, sir.
Joe.
Yes, sir.
That guy, like I said, that trains Bivol. That's the only guy he could train. And you try to have him train anybody else, he would be a big failure. Think about it. There's trainers out there. They're only made for one fighter. They try to train somebody else with totally different style, totally different athletic ability, talents, mindset. They would be failures. Okay. All right. They would be failures in training, guys. He's good for Bivol only. Okay.
Well,
it's just like Kevin Rooney was good.
Go ahead, sir.
It was like Kevin Rooney was. It's like Kevin Rooney was good for Mike Tyson. Nobody else. Okay. You can't. He tried to have Vinny. He tried to have Vinny move his head like Mike Tyson and everything. Come on, man. Vinny. That ain't Vinny Pazienza. Vinny Paz is Vinny Paz being nice and loose. You know what I mean? being nice and loose and what do you call it? Just natural and everything. He tried to have Vinny doing all this, moving the head like Tyson and this and that. But that's good for Tyson, but it doesn't work for a guy like Vinny or any other fighter. Okay, certain fighters like Rooney. Oh man, he trained Tyson to perfection, like the way Cuss wanted him to train him. Okay. That was Kevin Rooney's work of Mike Tyson was basically what Cuss taught him.
That was his.
That's the way he.
Yeah, that was Kevin Rooney's Ninth Symphony, guys. Kevin Rooney's Ninth Symphony. Yep.
Yeah. That was his. What do you call it? His master. That was his Mona Lisa. His Leonardo da Vinci.
Right. Okay. That was his Mona Lisa. Yeah. That was his Claire de Lune, guys. Once again,
and that's the same. That's the same thing with Joe. That's the same thing with that guy that trains Bivol. Same exact thing. Any other fighter, he wouldn't be successful. That's what I'm trying to say to you guys out there. Some fighters, some trainers, they only could train one fighter to be, and they only have successful one fighter through their whole career because, it's just that. Not only the chemistry, but it's just the techniques. And the philosophy and the way they do things, it's made for that fighter and everything.
And there it is. And Slight Tendencies adds this. I saw the Four Kings documentary, and Duran said the reason why he lost to Tommy Hearn so easily was because he wasn't training seriously. He also said he had a three-way with 3 different women the night before.
Yeah. You saw it in the ring, too. Now, if you watch that fight, right, he gets in the ring, walks around the ring, filling it out. Then he gets back in the, what he did, Joe? Well, I knew he wasn't ready to fight. He gets in the ring, walks around, filling the ring out. Then all of a sudden he goes into the corner and sits down on the stool and waits for Tommy Hearns to come in.
Wow.
I've never seen a fighter do that. Get in the ring, then all of a sudden go to they go down and sit down on the stool.
Yep.
What the fuck was that?
Boy, Samson had a 3-way, a menage a trois with Delilah the night before, facing one of the most deadly punchers in the division. Wow, not very smart. Yeah. Not very smart, guys. And once again, Anthony says, Coach, aren't we underestimating Canelo a little bit if he fights Dave Benavidez or Dave Morrell with the perception of him being an old lion and past his prime? Or is that an accurate depiction, Coach?
That's an accurate depiction, man. You know what I mean? He, like I said, from what I seen last night, I'm going by experience. It checked 3 out of the 5 boxes. So,
now, once again, guys, if you're not favored when you face beasts like Dave Morrell Jr. or Dave Benavidez, there's no shame in that. I see them being both very competitive fights still. I just would slightly favor either man in the ring with Canelo. But I tell you what, let's move on, guys. We're running out of time. And Coach is in Mexico City. We don't want to take up too much of his time. Boxing says, shout out to my man here, Boxing Historian. Thank you, sir, for supporting the coach. We really appreciate you being here, brother. Let's see. Let's move on. Also, big comment from Pranay. He says, Coach, do you think Canelo has one great performance left in him? He always had a great defense, always one of the best chins, so he's still relatively well preserved, isn't he?
I don't think he's well preserved, but he's got. Look, when you got a fighter like Canelo who has a lot of miles on his engine, that's not well preserved. Okay, it's not like a 20-year-old car with 50,000 miles on his engine. Okay, he's a 20-year-old car with probably 250 going on 300,000 miles on his engine. All right, it's a different story.
And there it is. And Jesus Sam, he also says, Coach, do we need to stop?
You there, Joe?
Yeah, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Very good. He says, Coach, we need to stop expecting from these boxers to have outrageous performances every single time out. It's not possible due to the idea that styles make fights.
Yeah.
That is correct to a specific degree. Yes. That is absolutely right. And guys, especially at this level.
That's when he's younger and everything. That's when he's younger.
Yeah, well, once again,
hey, he's younger. That's when he was younger. Yeah.
Look, guys.
Joe, that's when he's younger, not when he's older.
I understand, but once again, yeah, especially at this level, guys. And once again, I think a lot of people aren't giving John Ryder enough credit for being as tough and as durable as he was. He's a tough out for everyone. Ask Callum Smith, right? Ask Danny Jacobs. Ask Zach Parker. They were just in the ring with him. And once again, John Ryder earned this spot for a reason, guys. Don't look at the 5 losses early in his career. Once again, he's the UK equivalent to Orlando Salido. Ask Vasil Lomachenko how tough that gentleman was. Right?
Well, look at Canelo's last 3 fights.
That's true.
Bivol, Golovkin, he couldn't even stop Golovkin. Okay, give me a break. Yeah. Then this fight. Okay, this fight. That tells me right then and there, man. You know what I mean? You can't use the excuse, oh, they got to look good every time. You can't. No. I'm going by his last 3 fights. I'm going through everything in my mind, about how long he's been in the business, a pro since he's 15 years old. He's made millions of dollars. His motivation, the hunger is still there to train like a champion, to prepare like a champion. What do you call it? He can't. His last 3 fights, he can't pull the trigger like he normally does, and he's not. He has his last 3 fights. He hasn't been hurting these guys like when he was in his prime. All right, stuff like that. I'm seeing, and he's getting hit more. Okay, that stuff right there tells me everything. Okay, so it's not about he's got to. You can't expect a guy to look good all the time. That's That's a different subject. I'm just going by, the question is he declining? Yes, because of all the things I've been saying tonight.
And there it is. And guys, it looks like we're running out of time. We're not going to get to everyone's question. And for that, I sincerely apologize, guys. Coach, we're already at the 60-minute mark. We know you've had a long weekend. We know you're in Mexico City. Is there any way we could possibly get you back later this week to follow up with all of these great boxing fans?
Let me see. I'll let you know, okay?
Very good. And we apologize that we can get to all your questions. Once again, round 1, thank you for joining us, my friend. We really appreciate you being here. Winche Punch, thank you for being here, brother, and thank you for hanging with us last night. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, what?
Who has stopped Triple G? Nobody stopped him. But the thing is, he was made to be stopped. If Canelo was the man, if he was in his prime, the way Triple G looked that night, Canelo should have stopped him, okay, if he was in his prime.
And there it is. I tell you what, that's it. Coach Gogue, it looks like he sounded off. I don't think he's going to come back on, guys. Once again, he's having difficulty hearing us from the high altitude or with the connection from the high altitude in Mexico City. And he always complains about their internet. And once again, Boxing Source has the beat. He says, Gennady Mazhinov is Bivol's trainer. He also was in the corner of Sergey Kuzmin. Thank you, the astute JB at the Boxing Source. Thank you for the correction, my friend. We greatly appreciate it. So we also want to thank Miss B for being here in the at the War Week Radio. Thank you for joining us, ma'am. We appreciate you being here. And I will say this, and thank you for being so kind. She goes, stop interrupting Joseph. Let Joseph talk. Is this the James Show? Well, ma'am, unfortunately and fortunately, for us, we always learn something new with Coach James Gogue, 5-decade fight trainer, being here. So for all intents and purposes, yes, This is his show. But I can hang with you guys a little bit longer if you'd like. Also want to give a shout out from brother Bivol. Sorry I'm late to the party. Salute Mr. Aaron and Coach Gogue and the entire War Week Radio chat. Issy, thank you for always supporting War Week Radio and the coach, brother. We apologize that coach is of limited time. Also want to thank Teach for being here, supporting the coach. And once again, G Funky as a bee says, oh, it's Joel on Tuesday, who he is. Well, don't have to worry about that. James for the Boxing Source, just let us know. Also want to thank 50 Cal for being here. He also says, and this is regarding the Vernon Forrest conversation. He says, a lot of casuals don't know about Vernon Forrest. God rest his soul. You couldn't meet a kinder gentleman within the sport of boxing and a more generous person. Nobody, and I mean nobody, wanted to fight Vernon Forrest. Mayweather, not De La Hoya. They avoided him like the plague. It was sad that he passed away. And once again, he passed away defending someone who was getting mugged. That's what a great guy he was. And once again, part of that historic 92 Olympic team in Barcelona with Oscar De La Hoya, right? I will say this, though. Please, guys, visit us on Tuesday night when we interview Coach Ronnie Shields. We have a lot to discuss and a lot to ask him about. And please bring up Vernon Forrest. And we would love for him to remind all of us on what a great fighter, a special guy, and a generous human being Vernon Forrest was. And you're right. He was a nightmare-style matchup. And this is why he couldn't get a fight. He was never a huge ticket seller, right? Not even in his home area, which was, I think, Atlanta, Georgia. So no one wanted to fight him. Tall, rangy, welterweight with heavy hands and who could take a good punch, right? Hold on just one moment. Just one moment. My apologies, guys. But, guys, I hate to do this. And once again, hold on. Let me give a shout out to my brother, Antonio Luna. My brother, thank you for joining us, my friend. He says the build-up, the ring walk, the entrance, and the win last night should be Canelo's swan song, in my opinion. You know what, brother? I will say this. Unfortunately, the fighters are always the last to recognize that they've slipped. In their mind, they always have. In the minds of the fighters, they always, and this is the immortal words of Don Chargan, my mentor. He taught me everything about the business. He said, in the minds of every great fighter, they still have one brilliant performance left in them. And this is why very seldom do you see a fighter go out like Andre Ward or like Floyd Mayweather Jr. Most of the time, you'll see them hang around, a lot longer than they should. And that's the God's honest truth. And so it's highly doubtful that we'll see Canelo bow out gracefully. More often than not, he's going to stick around until he gets, hurt. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But look, guys, and I've said this on James's channel, right? If you want to remain the face of boxing like he is now, you're expected to fight quality opposition and whoever the real bosses of boxing demand. So if you're used to making that big pay-per-view money, you're used to making that 50, 40, 50, 60 million dollar guarantee. Well, that comes at a price, guys. You're expected to fight the best. I guarantee you, he didn't receive a $40 million guarantee to fight John Ryder in Mexico. So, unfortunately, guys, that comes at a cost, right? That's it. And look, Gervonta Davis is not going to hit $1.4 million. Hold on, guys, just one moment. That's Gogue. He continues to call me, guys. I had better get off the air, see what he needs. And once again, guys, we have a great show tomorrow night. We're going to extend this conversation, guys, on War Week Radio Chats. I'll share my thoughts with you. I'll even have a special guest, and we'll go over and be able to field all of your questions. And if you want to voice your opinions live on the air, I'll give you guys the chat and give you guys the floor. Okay? Thank you guys for being here. And once again, that was Gogue. He said, sorry, guys, but I got cut off. Internet here in Mexico City is terrible. So, guys, I want to thank you all for joining us. And once again, please join me tomorrow night. I'll open the floor, give you guys the link, and please join us and be able to speak your piece. We'll have a great time, guys. But that's going to just about do it, guys. On behalf of the incomparable 5-decade fight trainer, Coach James Gogue, I'm Joseph Heron. You've been listening to War Week Radio. Thank you, guys, for being here with us tonight. Have a wonderful week, everybody.
Halftime Pizza and FightSaga.com proudly present War Week Radio with 5-decade fight trainer James Gogue.